It started as just another star-studded night on The Tonight Show, until Jennifer Lawrence noticed something that made her stop mid-sentence and changed everything forever. Studio 6B was alive with electric energy that came with A-list appearances. Tonight, Jennifer Lawrence was back to discuss her latest film and her journey as one of Hollywood's most relatable superstars. The iconic New York City skyline glittered through the studio's massive windows, creating the perfect backdrop for what everyone expected would be another charming conversation filled with Jennifer's signature humor and authenticity. The audience was buzzing with excitement, filled with film enthusiasts and fans who had grown up watching Jennifer evolve from indie darling to Oscar winner. Jimmy had been looking forward to this interview for weeks. Conversations with Jennifer always touched on themes of perseverance, staying grounded, and remembering where you came from. What nobody noticed during the pre-show excitement was the woman in row 8 seat. Sarah Mitchell, 65 years old, sat perfectly still in her worn but clean navy blue uniform, the kind worn by custodial staff at countless institutions. In her weathered hands, she clutched a pair of yellow rubber cleaning gloves, the heavy-duty ones that had seen years of hard work, their surface cracked and stained from decades of keeping places clean for other people. Sarah had won her tickets through a radio station contest she'd entered on a whim during her lunch break at Jefferson High School, where she'd worked as head custodian for 23 years. Her supervisor, Miss Chen, had been encouraging her to do something special for herself, to find ways to celebrate her own achievements after years of putting everyone else first. The cleaning gloves represented a sacrifice that had shaped Sarah's entire life. 23 years ago, when her daughter Rebecca was starting high school, Sarah took the custodial job because the schedule would let her be home when Rebecca got out of school. The pay was less than her previous office job, but it meant she could help with homework, attend parent-teacher conferences, and be present for the small moments that matter. What Sarah hadn't anticipated was missing Rebecca's graduation. High school graduation ceremonies were all hands-on-deck affairs for custodial staff. While parents sat in the audience watching their children receive diplomas, Sarah was emptying trash cans, cleaning bathrooms, and ensuring the auditorium was perfect for everyone else's special moment. She'd missed Rebecca's graduation, choosing duty over personal joy, ensuring that 847 other families could have clean facilities for their celebration. The show opened with Jimmy's usual warmth and enthusiasm. When he introduced Jennifer, the applause was thunderous and sustained, 200 people showing appreciation for someone who had remained authentic despite massive fame. Jennifer walked onto the stage in an elegant black dress that was both glamorous and approachable. She hugged Jimmy warmly, waved to the audience with confidence and humility, and settled into the guest chair with comfortable presence. Jennifer Lawrence. "Everybody," Jimmy said, settling behind his wooden desk. "Thank you for being here. Your career has been incredible to watch. But what always strikes me is how you've stayed connected to your roots, to the people who supported you before you were famous. What keeps you grounded?" Jennifer smiled that genuine smile that had endeared her to millions. "You know, Jimmy, I think it's because I never forget that my success isn't just mine. It belongs to every teacher who encouraged me, every person who worked extra hours so I could pursue auditions, every individual who believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. Success is a team effort, and the most important team members are often the people nobody notices." As Jennifer spoke, her eyes naturally scanned the audience, finding Sarah in row 8, listening with intense attention while holding those yellow cleaning gloves. Jennifer's rhythm faltered slightly. Something about the woman's posture, the way she held those gloves, like purchased memories, spoke to Jennifer in a language she recognized from her own working-class upbringing. "Actually, Jimmy," Jennifer said, her voice shifting to a more personal register, "I'm seeing something in the audience right now that's reminding me of exactly what I was talking about. The people who make everything possible. Jimmy looked curious, sensing that Jennifer was about to take the conversation somewhere unplanned. Jennifer stood up and walked toward the edge of the stage, her eyes finding Sarah again. The lady in row 8 in the Navy uniform. Those look like work gloves you're holding. What do you do? Sarah looked around frantically, pointing to herself with a shocked expression. The audience turned to look at her, and she felt her face flush with embarrassment. Of all the nights to come straight from work, still in her uniform, it had to be the night Jennifer Lawrence noticed her. Yes, you, Jennifer said gently, her voice carrying that distinctive warmth that made strangers feel like friends. I recognize those gloves. My mom had gloves just like that. What's your name? Sarah slowly stood up, her legs feeling unsteady. She looked down at the gloves in her hands, then back up at Jennifer. Sarah, she said, her voice barely audible, but carrying a strength that was immediately noticeable. Sarah Mitchell. Sarah, Jennifer repeated, and something in the way she said the name suggested she was already seeing something special in this woman. And what do you do with those gloves? Sarah's eyes immediately filled with tears. I'm a custodian at Jefferson High School. I've been there for 23 years, keeping the school clean for the students and teachers. The studio fell quieter. Something in Sarah's tone, the pride mixed with humility, caught everyone's attention. 23 years, Jennifer said softly. That's an entire generation of students who had a clean, safe place to learn because of you. That's incredible, Sarah. Sarah was quiet for a moment, then spoke with a voice that was stronger, but heavy with emotion. I took the job because I wanted to be available for my daughter when she was in high school. I wanted to be the kind of mom who could help with homework and be there for parent-teacher conferences. Jennifer felt something shift inside her chest. She could hear the love, the sacrifice, the careful choices that working parents make every day. And were you able to do that? Jennifer asked. Were you there for your daughter? Sarah nodded, tears starting to flow. I was there for everything. Every report card, every school play, every moment, except, she paused, looking down at the gloves, except graduation. I had to work during her graduation ceremony. While she walked across the stage, I was cleaning bathrooms and emptying trash so everyone else's families could have a perfect day. The studio fell completely silent. Even the Roots stopped their gentle background music. Jimmy felt something break open in his chest. This wasn't an interview anymore. This was about to become something much more important and profound. Jennifer felt tears forming in her own eyes. You missed your daughter's graduation because you were making sure everyone else's graduation was perfect. It was my job, Sarah whispered. The ceremony couldn't wait, and someone had to make sure everything was clean. Rebecca understood. She hugged me afterward and said it was okay. But I've regretted it every day for 20. Behind the scenes, Jimmy made a decision that would define this moment forever. He walked down from the stage and joined Jennifer at the edge, both of them now focused entirely on this woman who had sacrificed her own moment of pride to ensure other families could have theirs. Sarah, Jimmy said gently, where is Rebecca now? She's a teacher, Sarah said, pride evident in her voice despite her tears. She teaches 3rd grade in Philadelphia. She says I inspired her to work in education to help kids the way I helped make their school environment better. Jennifer felt anger and admiration rise in her chest simultaneously. This woman had given up her most important moment and had raised a daughter who was continuing the legacy of service. Sarah, Jennifer said, can I ask you something? In all these years, has anyone ever thanked you properly for what you did? Has anyone ever acknowledged that your sacrifice made their graduation possible? Sarah shook her head. It was just my job. I wasn't looking for thanks. But you deserved them, Jennifer said firmly. Sarah, What you did wasn't just a job. It was love. You loved your daughter enough to take a position that would let you be present for her daily life. And you loved those 84-7 graduating families enough to ensure their special day was perfect, even when it meant missing your own special moment. Jennifer made a decision that surprised everyone, including herself. "Sarah, would you mind if I came up there? I want to talk to you about something, and I think it's important." The audience murmured with anticipation, but Jennifer's request wasn't about entertainment. It was about recognition, one person who understood sacrifice reaching out to another who had given more than anyone realized. "You'd really do that?" Sarah asked, looking amazed. "Sarah," Jennifer said, "what I'm about to do is the least I can do for someone who spent 23 years making sure students had a clean place to learn and dream." Jennifer Lawrence, one of the highest paid actresses in the world, left the stage and walked into the audience. The cameras followed her, but everyone in the studio understood that this wasn't about creating good television. This was about something more sacred. Jennifer reached Sarah's row, and the people around them shifted to make space. She sat down next to Sarah, and for a moment, an Academy Award winner and a high school custodian sat together in the middle of a talk show audience, connected by an understanding of what it means to put others first. "Tell me about Rebecca's graduation day," Jennifer said simply. Sarah's composure broke completely. May 15th, 2001. "I remember everything about that morning. I helped her get ready, took pictures of her in her cap and gown, told her how proud I was. Then I went to work 2 hours early to make sure everything was perfect for the ceremony." What happened during the ceremony? "I was in the utility closet, restocking supplies, when I heard the principal start calling names," Sarah said. "I could hear the applause through the walls. When they called Rebecca's name, I stopped everything and just listened. I couldn't see her, but I heard her class cheer for her, and I knew she was walking across that stage." "What did you do?" I cried, Sarah admitted. "I stood in that closet with my cleaning supplies and cried because I was so proud and so sorry at the same time." Jennifer reached over and gently took the cleaning gloves from Sarah's hands. "Sarah, these gloves aren't just work equipment. They're evidence of 23 years of service, of love, of sacrifice that made thousands of students' education better." Jennifer stood up and addressed the studio. "Everyone, I want to tell you about Sarah Mitchell. For 23 years, she's ensured students have a clean, safe place to learn. She missed her daughter's graduation because she was making 847 other families' ceremonies." The audience was completely quiet. Sarah never got her graduation moment. "That was stolen from her because she was serving others," Jennifer continued. "I want to give you something back. I can't give you that day in 2001, but I can give you recognition for what you sacrificed." Jennifer took out her phone and made a call that everyone in the studio could hear. "Rebecca, this is Jennifer Lawrence. I'm here with your mom on The Tonight Show, and I need to tell you something." Sarah looked stunned. "How did you get her number?" "I have people," Jennifer said with a smile, then spoke into the phone. "Rebecca, your mom is here, and she's been telling me about graduation day, about how she missed watching you walk across that stage because she was making sure everyone else's graduation was perfect." Jennifer put the phone on speaker so everyone could hear. Rebecca's voice filled the studio, warm and emotional. "Mom, is this really happening? Are you really on The Tonight Show with Jennifer Lawrence?" "It's really happening, sweetie," Sarah said, tears streaming down her face. "Rebecca," Jennifer said into the phone, "I want everyone here to understand something about your mom. She made a choice 23 years ago that defined both of your lives. She chose a job that would let her be present for your daily education, and then she chose to sacrifice her own graduation moment to serve others." "She's always been like that," Rebecca said, her voice thick with emotion. "She's the most selfless person I know. She taught me that service isn't about recognition, it's about love." But Jennifer wasn't finished. Sarah, I want to do something right here, right now. I want to give you the graduation moment you never got. Jimmy joined them. What do you need? Jennifer took Sarah's hand and led her center stage. Sarah Mitchell, she said formally. After 23 years of dedicated service to education, you graduate today from selflessness to celebration. The audience erupted in applause. Jennifer reached into her purse and pulled out her own high school class ring. Sarah, I want you to have this. It's my class ring from high school. Jennifer placed the ring on Sarah's finger. Now you have something from your daughter's graduation year and something from me. Rebecca's voice came through the phone. Mom, I'm so proud of you. Now everyone knows what I've known, that you're a hero. Jimmy joined them center stage. Tonight, we learned that the people who make our lives better are often the people we never notice, the ones working while we celebrate. Jennifer added, sometimes the most important graduations aren't from schools. They're from service to recognition. Sarah returned home with something she hadn't had in 23 years, knowledge that her sacrifice mattered. Jennifer's ring stayed on her finger, a daily reminder that service is noble and recognition, even when delayed, can heal decades of regret. 2 weeks later, Jefferson High School held a special assembly to honor Sarah's 23 years of service. Students who had graduated decades ago returned to thank her for providing them with a clean place to learn. The principal announced the main hallway would be renamed Sarah Mitchell Hall. Rebecca flew in from Philadelphia, and for the first time in 23 years, Sarah sat in an audience watching someone she loved be honored. Jennifer established a scholarship fund for children of service workers. The Tonight Show episode became one of the most watched segments in the show's history. Schools nationwide reported increased appreciation for custodial staff. 3 months later, Sarah spoke at Rebecca's school district graduation, not as a custodian, but as a featured speaker about service and recognizing those who make dreams possible. Standing at that podium, wearing Jennifer's ring, Sarah understood she hadn't missed Rebecca's graduation 23 years ago. She had been preparing for this moment, when her story would inspire a new generation. It wasn't just late-night television that night. It was proof that everyone's work has dignity, and sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is see someone who has been invisible for too long.